Hello, church. We will be meeting live on Sunday back in our building at 8:30 and 10:30. And we'll talk more about the service times in a few minutes. But what we want to do is make some videos this week so that you will know what to expect, but also what is expected of you. I'll try to make these videos short and to the point because I know we're all about videoed out. I know I am very tired of seeing my face on a computer screen. But I do think it's important that we give you information so that you can process what's going on. It has been said that reopening our church buildings is far more complex and difficult than it ever was to close them, and I'm finding that to be very, very true. There's so many decisions that have to be made, plans that have to be put into place, and so we really appreciate your patience and grace with us as we navigate these waters. I've been reading a book called Canoeing the Mountains, really great leadership book, but it is based on the journey, the expedition of Lewis and Clark as they went west to try to find a water passage that would connect the east and the west. And what they found was the Rocky Mountains. And what they realized all of a sudden when they saw the Rocky Mountains is that they had been assuming that what was behind them or what was ahead of them was the same as what's behind them. And I think we live a lot like that, in that we assume that what is ahead of us will be the same as what's behind us. And I believe that over the last several weeks, we've realized now that what is before us, what is in front of us is not the same as where we've come from. And there have been other times, I know we've talked about this being unprecedented, and it certainly is in our lifetime, but change is not unprecedented. We have gone through a lot of changes, and a big event that brought change was September 11th, 2001. And there are things that we do now that we never would have dreamed that we would have had to do prior to that point. And I think that's the way it's going to be moving forward. There are going to be some things that never go back to being the same. There are some of those things that will go back to being the same. There are some of those things that I don't want them to go back to being the same. I have really appreciated the priorities that families have taken within their own families, and taking care of families, and taking care of one another, and taking care of our neighbors, and realizing that church is not just what we do in a building on Sunday morning. There's a lot of things that I hope never go back to being the same. And so as we talk about those things, let's just explore what it's going to look like as you come back on Sunday morning. And I guess that's the first question that I need to answer, or the first thing I need to address, is that some of you may not feel comfortable coming back here on Sunday morning, and that is absolutely okay. We understand. We are going to do our very best to continue to come to you with the best quality that we possibly can. As we have made equipment purchases, we have done things to make our online presence as high quality as we can. And so just know that that will be indefinite. We will continue to have an online presence. And so if you decide that, I really just want to continue to worship from home for a while and not get back together in the crowd, just know that you are just as important doing that as anybody who will be in the building on Sunday morning. That it's not right or wrong. It is just your choice. It is just where you're at and how you feel. And so the person sitting here in our building is not more spiritual than the one sitting at home. They don't have more faith necessarily than the one sitting at home joining us online. We are one body, joined together by the Spirit of God, and where the Spirit is, then we're together. And so please know that. Know that our service times will be 8:30 and 10:30, and those will be identical services. We want to encourage some who would typically go to a second service to come to what is, at least now, our first service at 8:30, so that we can balance out the numbers. Know that this change is temporary. We will go back to our service times as soon as we can. But right now we are offering 2 identical services to encourage us to spread out between the 2 services. For this first week, there will not be any activities for kids, and there will not be a nursery. We will explore that more in subsequent weeks. We are looking at probably getting our kids crossing going again the first weekend of June. We will not have a nursery, most likely throughout the month of June, and we are going to be phasing some of these things in as we deem them safe. As you know, things change rapidly, and we are currently waiting on our local health official to put out his recommendations so that we know if the numbers that we're planning on are the same as what we were planning on with the governor's mandates. So we are still waiting on some of that information, but for right now, just know that we will have 8:30 and 10:30. That will give us time to come in and sanitize between services. After one service leaves, we'll need to come in and completely sanitize before the next service comes in. Again, these are temporary. We're still kind of waiting on seeing what this is going to look like moving forward. But for this Sunday, May 31st, 8:30 and 10:30, we will sanitize in between. And I want you to know that the plan that we have in place, we have submitted it to our insurance company. They have approved it. But even then, things change. But as far as right now, we are moving forward. So I do want to encourage you to be gracious. Please be gracious with one another. Please be gracious with us. It feels like we make a decision and then it has to be changed the very next minute. It feels like we are at two ends of a spectrum on whether we should do one thing or another, if we should meet, if we shouldn't meet. And so I don't know that there is at this point a right and a wrong. There's just different. And if your opinion is different than someone else's, please be kind. Please be gracious as we move forward. We are all putting making these decisions in prayer and in community. And that's the only way that I know how to do it, is seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, put all this of it in his hands in prayer, seek wise counsel, and then move forward as best we can and make changes along the way the best we can. So this is the first video. I will put out some more videos throughout this week so that you'll know what to expect. I'll take a video camera through the building so you can see what it's going to look like, what things look like, how the seating is, all those kind of things. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. Send me a text, send me an email, call me, because I'm sure if you have that question, others will have that question as well. I'd be happy to answer it for you, but also answer it for the congregation so that you know what to expect moving forward. So really looking forward to seeing you, and please keep us in prayer. These are very stressful times, trying to make the right decisions. Please keep us in prayer. We have been keeping you in prayer and keeping these decisions in prayer. So God bless. Look forward to seeing you soon, and we will have another video out later on. God bless.